Welcome to episode 63 of the Practice Squad, a show where we talk about football, shoot the breeze, and make even the replacement refs cringe. I'm your host and fourth string quarterback, Jeremy, joined each and every week by my co host and backup long snapper, Joseph. How's it going, man?
Believe Dolphins outperformed the Bills.
There's a lot of things I can't believe after this
This
week,
week,
and that is one of them. Yes. Um, So we are live right here on YouTube every Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. Pacific. If you like what you hear and want to support us, don't hesitate to like, share, and if you're feeling extra generous, to subscribe. But of course, you can always like, share, or subscribe, even if you think you could run this show better than us. So this week we've
not
got
possible. Not possible.
no, it's probably not going to be possible, but so feel free to like, share, and subscribe anyway. So this week we've got our uh, typical segments. We got game of the week. We've got who wrecked face this week. We've got commentators say the darndest things. Yes, we've got two for you this week. We've got a short special segment going over kind of all the wackiness from this week, our tricky picks, and of course we're going to round out our show with week 10 predictions. So um, before we dive into our first segment of the week, I just want to say that I did, just to remind our audience, that I did attend the uh, Cardinals at Niners game at Levi Stadium this last Sunday, and it was by far and away the most pathetic football game of the four that I've ever attended. Like no question, the worst performance ever. And was devastating for the 49ers playoff chances. I was there for Mina's birthday actually. So funny thing, I'm the 49er fan in the home. Although I guess you could call my son half of a fan because we bought him a Niners shirt that says the littlest 49ers fan. And he wore that to the game. Uh, and I'm slowly exposing him to my love for the 49ers. But my wife actually wanted to do just something different for her birthday this year. Her birthday was in October, and she decided, oh, hey, I want to go to a football game and invite a couple of my friends. So she invited a good friend of hers and her husband, and they came with myself, my wife, and my son. And the Niners obviously forgot that it was for her birthday because they put up a stinker. And our tricky picks this week are actually you may not remember this either, but our tricky picks are also based on stuff that happened at the game. So we'll go over that again once we get to the tricky pick segment. But I just wanted to make sure I said something about that because man, it was memorable in all the worst ways. So our first real segment of the night is our game of the week, and I think this is like the second or third time all season that we've actually followed through on what the game was, on what we said the game was going to be, and that was Texans at Dolphins. So, Joseph, since this is your team, do you want to kind of go down this the same way that we normally do it, the quarter by quarter, or do you want to shake up the format a little bit? I'm cool to go wherever you want to go with this.
You know what? Let's do quarter by quarter. This might be the first time in a while, maybe this season, where I've actually taken like quarter by quarter notes. The second time I watched it, I would pause the game, type in notes for each quarter. So if you want to go quarter by quarter, I'll just go off of that. Yeah, I have some notes. So
Okay, cool. And then I have some overall comments about the game. I'll save those for the end. So,
here, same here. Good.
um, okay, so the game started off. I it started off looking good for the Texans. They were moving the ball down the field pretty fast. They kind of had the Dolphins on their heels, and then uh, Tyrod Taylor, the elite quarterback that he is, threw a floater into the end zone, and it got picked off by Javon Holland. So
I think I want to check. I think that was his first career interception because we drafted him in the second round, and it looks like that was his first career interception.
you drafted him in the second round
Yeah,
of
safety,
of
second
this
round,
this
36.
year.
Yes.
Okay. Has he been a starter the whole year?
It looks like it for a safety. The stats he's putting up for a safety here, yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, and he had yeah, that was his first career
Wow, what
interception.
do you know? You guys are actually using your first round through third round draft picks this year, unlike the Niners who decided to just bench all of their high draft picks this year for no reason. So okay, so that saved any points from going on the board. And then on the Dolphins drive that they got from the interception, um, that was the drive where Mike Gesicki made his first of two amazing one-handed catches.
Almost three. Almost
Almost
three.
three. And I actually thought there should have been a PI on that first throw because the defender was just draped all over him and he reached up with one hand and just grabbed the ball, snatched it out of the air.
It was amazing.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Now is he technically
Yes.
a tight
Big.
end or a receiver?
Oh, my bad. I was gonna say, yeah, so I'll just say what I was gonna say. He's a free agent this year. We better sign him to it. We do not keep him. Oh man, it's frustrating. He's been one of the bright spots we've had, and he's gets better every year. So he's a tight end. I think this is his third or fourth year, and he's a tight end. But I guess he does almost have the build, and looks like he's doing kind of like some Jimmy Graham stuff, kind of hybrid. Um, but yeah, he's officially a tight end, and if we don't sign him to a multi-year deal, I'll be very disappointed.
Okay, I'm just looking up his stats real quick. Okay, so he came into the league in 2018. He's been um oh, we're having some Skype feedback. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah,
Okay. I just heard some beeping on Skype. Don't know what that was. Um so yeah, he came into the league in 2018 and didn't do much that year, but then the last 2 years he's been decent. 570 yards, 5 touchdowns, 703 yards, 6 touchdowns this year so far through 9 games. Already 529 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he looks to be having his best season yet. So yeah,
yeah,
he
and I
seems
think
like a
getting him more,
solid person to keep.
yeah, getting him more exposure would be good, and a piece that, and with similar with Devontae Parker, just using them more, So having a good quarterback, figure that out. I think he would be
Yeah.
the
So,
guy.
question
Figure
about
it
that
out.
actually. I was gonna save this to the end, but why is was did Brissett start this game? What is Tua
So
hurt or what's going
I,
on with that?
yeah, Stu has an injured finger. I had
Oh,
initial suspicion that maybe they were not starting him because they wanted to, we given up on the season pretty much. But I'm glad it's not the case. I mean, hopefully that wasn't like a hidden case, right? And that it truly is, um, or only is the finger. But that was the issue, is her
wait, wouldn't
finger.
it be the
So,
opposite though? If you guys gave up on the season, wouldn't that mean you'd want to play him every game so that he'd get the experience?
oh, that's a good point. I was thinking more from the aspect of shutting him down because you don't want him to get injured, re-injured. I guess that's a good point. Yeah, because I don't know how he had that rib injury several weeks ago.
I mean, I don't know. If it was me, I would say play him because he needs the experience. He doesn't even have. Has he even started 16 games yet?
In his career, no, I think he's around like 12 or so.
Okay. Yeah, I'd say definitely get him to. I mean, I don't know, to finish the for your first 2 full years in the NFL and have less than one season worth of starts is not great. So I would
Look that up.
say,
Go ahead and look that up while you're going.
what was that?
Go ahead and keep going, and I'll look that up.
Okay. Yeah, I was just gonna say I think they should definitely start. If you guys have given up on the season, if he's healthy, he should be playing. Okay, so then after the Gasicki catch, um, there was I guess you could sort of call it a trick play, although I don't know even know if it's a trick play, just sort of an odd formation. Gaskin was lined up in the shotgun, and then he runs in for the touchdown. So Dolphins are up 7-0, and then couple kind of interesting plays to end the first quarter. So I guess on the next Texans drive they must have punted, because then the Dolphins get the ball back. Brissett tries to throw a deep pass, but it's picked off. And then on the Texans possession, Taylor just gets smoked.
Oh,
I think it was like 3rd and 11 or so, or 2nd and 10. Or I don't remember what it was, but he just gets smoked.
Well, first comment is, why did Brissett not throw that out of bounds? Because they still would have had 3rd down, I think. It was 2nd and 10, and he just threw it. And like there was a couple guys down there, and I don't know how that was considered a good play. He should have thrown it out of bounds. And then Taylor got wrecked.
Yeah, that was not. I think that was maybe the second most violent sack that I've seen this season. The first was the Mac Jones one. I think it was against was it against the Cowboys? The one where he just got leveled.
Oh,
I think that was one of our game of the week.
Yeah, because it was
a few weeks ago. Yeah. So then we roll into the second quarter. Texans punt, and then on a 2nd and 10, the Dolphins fumble on a run. And then so the Texans are now Texans recover. So then now the Texans are in pretty deep in Dolphins territory, but Taylor decides to be the Taylor he's always been, throws a couple really inaccurate balls, and the Texans are forced to kick a field goal. So it's now 7-3 Dolphins. And then on, I guess it's the next 2 drives, nothing happens, because my next note is that they put Javon Holland back to return a punt, and he fumbles.
Yeah, and that is not the first time this happened this year. The Dolphins have been bad with fumbles. We've been bad with special fumbles. I mean, we traded Jakeem Grant right after he fumbled on a punt, I believe, against the Bills. I think we were kind of hanging in there in the second Bills game when it was close the first half, and there was an opportunity for us to. I remember it was close to the end of the first half, and they were punting near their end zone, I believe, and I think Grant fumbled the ball and got traded within the week to the Bears, I believe, for that 6th-round pick. So yeah, we've had problems, and it's just unfortunate to see that. And they had 3 fumbles lost game. 3 fumbles lost. So
yeah,
that's all I'll say to that.
Yeah, that was a really bad moment. Okay, so then so after the fumble, Texans recover at the Dolphins 17, and then you guys put up another good stop, and the Texans kick a 40-yarder, so it's now 7-6 Dolphins. And then on the next drive, that's when the leaping one-handed grab round 2 comes. Mike Gesicki's second amazing catch. And then I think it was on that same drive he tried for a 3rd one but missed.
Yep, he had it and going to the ground. It looks like he dropped it.
Yeah.
So he almost had 3 and 2 on the same drive.
So he should get cut, right? So that's just, to me, that's just as bad as a punt return fumble, honestly. Missing your third beautiful one-handed catch that you deserve to get all of your salary fined. So especially since it ended up meaning that you guys kicked a field goal on that drive. So Dolphins up 10-6. And then this was that weird play where you were asking about the rule, and maybe someone in the audience knows, I don't know, but so this is the play where Tyrod Taylor, he rolled out to the left, and he did the thing where he throws it out. He's like rolling out. He knows he can't get anything done, so he tries to throw it out of bounds. But for some reason, his throw was in bounds, and there was a defender there, Jerome Baker, the uh, right on the out of bounds line, and he had 1 foot out of bounds and 1 foot inbounds, and then he saw the ball coming, so he brought his out of bounds foot inbounds, so both feet are in bounds, and he intercepted the ball. And the refs ruled that it was an interception. So, and all turnovers get reviewed so automatically. So, I guess that's legal. And you were saying, Joseph, that he wasn't pushed out of bounds, which I thought that was the rule for either return. So this is my understanding, and I could be totally wrong about this, but at a minimum for offensive players, you cannot go out of bounds on your own volition and then get back inbounds and be the first person to touch the ball. That will be an automatic flag. If you're pushed out and then come back in, I think that's okay. The other one is if it's a special teams play and you're the kicking team and you kicking or punting and you run out of bounds on your own volition and come back in, you also cannot be the first person to touch the ball. I've seen times where guys will, like the gunner will go out of bounds and then he'll come and down the ball at like the 3, but then there's a flag because he was out of bounds. So you can't do that.
For a punt, you said?
For punts and I believe also for kicks. But then apparently if you're a defender, you can do whatever you want because he was voluntarily out of bounds and then came back in and intercepted the ball. So I guess that's legal unless the refs just blew it. But the commentators didn't say anything, so I'm just kind of trusting that between the refs and the commentators that they got it right somehow. So regardless, that was the second interception, I think. Taylor's second interception. Or no, I think that was the third one.
Well, no, it was the second because we missed. There was a back-to-back tips. That's later, I think. Third one happens.
Yeah,
was the second.
Yeah, I guess that's in the third.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's in the third quarter. Yeah. So then you guys finish out the half with the touchdown pass to Mac Hollins. So that was the 17-6. So the entirety of the second half, there's 3 points scored. So then to start the third quarter, the Texans' first drive of the second half, Taylor's pass is intercepted. And was that the one? No, I'm thinking of a different one. That's the next that's the next drive. So that pass is intercepted by Justin Coleman. And then on the Dolphins drive, Brissett throws a ball that hits the back of a linebacker or a defensive lineman, and then it pops up and it's intercepted by Malik Collins, who's a Texan. So it just, I don't know what he was doing. He literally threw it at his back and then it bounced up and was intercepted. Really bad moment, really ugly moment. I would say that for Brissett, he threw 2 picks, right? He threw that pick and then the deep one. So the deep one was sort of a 50-50 ball that was, I think it was a bad decision to have thrown it, but it wasn't necessarily a bad throw. It was just maybe a little short. But this one was just, I don't know what he was doing. And then did you watch the YouTube highlights, right?
Yeah.
So the play where the crowd is so quiet, you can hear Brissett say, "Hey, I'm going in the gun. I'm in the gun."
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard a quarterback that clear before.
Yeah, I don't recall.
It was almost like it was as if you were down on the field listening. It was that crystal clear. So, and then there was did he get sacked? Oh yeah, that's right. He got sacked. Yeah, the guy ran. I guess that helped out the defender because the defender knew what the play was and he just sacked him. So that ended the third quarter, and then on the fourth quarter, there was a nice catch and run by Danny Amendola that set up.
I didn't know he was still playing or what
I
he was
didn't
doing.
either. I didn't either. I guess he decided he wanted to um, end his career with the Texans.
I mean, I guess that means he ended it when he joined the team.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, yeah, I don't know. So he had a good catch and run, and it set up the Texans' last score of the day to make it 17-9. And then the Texans punch out a ball from Brissett. He just had no idea there was a guy behind him, ran up, punched the ball out. Texans recover. And then just ugly, dude, this game. Then the next drive was when Taylor tripped while he was backing up in the pocket and just fell over. Honestly, if I was in the stadium watching this game, like, you get that energy after a turnover, and then the next thing you see is just a dumb play by your team, and you're like, what is happening? That was the whole game. It was just dumb play returned by dumb play for the whole game. So Taylor trips, and then they did. I don't know if it was the next play or a couple plays later. They complete a pass, but then the ball pops out. Miami recovers, and that was basically that sealed the game because that was essentially the Texans' last chance to do anything with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left and no timeouts. So they do put up a stop, and I think they got the ball back with like 45 seconds left or something, and then they did one of those dumb like reverse lateral plays that went nowhere, and the game ended. So I don't know what the injury report from this game was, but there were 9 turnovers in this game. There were 5. I have the box score up. There were 5 interceptions and 4 fumbles, and the winner of the turnover battle was Houston. Actually, Houston had 4, Miami had 5, and Miami came out on top. So, yeah, just not acceptable by any stretch of the imagination. Let me read just if you didn't get a chance to watch with us, let me read the drive summary of this game, okay? Interception, touchdown, punt, interception, punt, fumble, field goal. Punt, field goal, interception, touchdown, end of half. Okay, it gets better. Next half. Interception, punt, field goal, fumble, punt, fumble, punt.
No, you should have just saved the last 20 minutes and just said that in the first pitch.
But I told Joseph, so I texted Joseph as soon as I finished watching the game, and I said, this was a ugly, but somehow charming game to watch. It was almost like watching a high school football game in some ways. Except the totality of the millions of dollars that were being earned on the field in that game is baffling when you think about the way that these teams played. So yeah, I don't think we're gonna watch another game like that this season, most likely. I mean, 9 turnovers, that's probably a record so far this year. Not an NFL record, but probably on the season, that's probably the highest. So I didn't know you guys have a player named Van Ginkel. That's great.
Yeah, that guy. Oh, yeah, I remember him.
He had a sack or something.
Yeah, he had. I think last year he had a great play. I remember bringing him up. His name.
Yeah, Andrew Van Ginkel. He had a sack in the game.
So let me look up our team. I want to look up our turnover ratio because I think we were already pretty bad as it is, but that obviously hurt us. So
well, it was only net -1 though.
Okay, fair enough. So we're net -5, which is just like the bottom 7 in the league.
The Niners are worse.
Yeah, so we're tied for third worst. So you have -12 with the Jets. You have Jags, Niners, Chiefs at -9. And you have Dolphins, Panthers at -5. So,
Oh man.
and then you have the Bills at +11.
Yeah, Bills at +11, Jets at -12, Niners at -9. Wow. Chiefs at -9. I'm actually a little surprised the Steelers are 0. They were a turnover heavy team last year. So they must be
For the ball.
Yeah, it's 8 giveaways and 8 takeaways. So that's like averaging 1 per game. That's not bad. Okay, so that's our game of the week, and our next segment is who wrecked face this week. So
I'll let you go first.
Okay, yeah, we got a couple of quarterbacks, we got some running backs, we got some defensive players, and then Joseph's got a list of some got wrecked this week. So I'll go first with the running backs and the defensive players. So first running back was Jonathan Taylor for the Colts. 19 carries, 172 yards, which is a 9.1 average. Scored 2 touchdowns and also had 2 receptions for 28 yards. So he had exactly 200 scrimmage yards in that game, where they demolished the Jets 45-30. Then the next running back was Nick Chubb for the Browns. 14 carries, 137 yards, 9.8 average. Also had 2 touchdowns and then also had 2 receptions for 26 yards. So 163 scrimmage yards. And then lastly, James Conner, 21 carries for 96 yards, which is just under 5 yards average per carry, 2 touchdowns, but then he also had 5 receptions for 77 yards and a touchdown. So, and that was against the Niners. We decided that we didn't want to. I think we had 12 missed tackles in that game. It was the worst defensive performance I've seen from the Niners since 2018. It was horrendous. Then I've got 4 defensive players. Eric Kendricks, I think we've seen him a couple of times on this list. Linebacker for the Vikings. He had 17 tackles, what we call a tackling machine. Anthony Walker, linebacker for Cleveland in their devastation of the Bengals. 14 tackles and a sack. TJ Watt put up another solid week, 7 tackles, 3 sacks, and a pass defended. And Jeffrey Simmons, defensive tackle for Tennessee, in their domination over the Rams, had 6 tackles, 3 sacks, and 4 quarterback hits.
All right, so first up we have Matt Ryan. He's 23 of 30 for 343 yards. So that's 76% completion and a 14.9 yards per completion. He had 2 touchdowns and no picks for 136 approximate passer rating. But also, he had a rushing touchdown as well. And then Justin Herbert, 32 of 38, 84% for 356 yards. Also 2 touchdowns and no picks, 123 rating, and also had a rushing touchdown for a total of 370 total yards. Good game by him. And then for got wrecked. So this could be narrowed down. I was a little liberal this week, but there was a lot of got wrecked. So in some sense, this is a bad week, but in another sense, it's also probably our record for most got wrecked. So let's start with Sam Darnold. 16 of 33, 172 yards, 0 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. His QBR was a 3.
Nice.
With a passer rating of 26.3. Next is the Bills-Jags game. I mean, there were no touchdowns. There were no touchdowns in this game. Jags won 9-6. And did I just mention? I did. The Jags won. The Bills lost to the Jags. They couldn't even score a touchdown. Just embarrassing on many levels. And then the Dolphins. The Dolphins get 2 here. First, they're rushing. They had 1 rushing touchdown, but they had 47 yards, a 1.9 average. That's not good. And then the fumbles. We had 3 fumbles. We lost all of them. There you go. Turnovers, will help you win or lose the game. So, pretty ugly performances this week.
Yeah, indeed. All right, so our third segment of the night is commentators say the darndest things, and I'll go first. So the quote I have is actually not a commentator, but a commentator quoting one of the coaches during their the halftime locker room interview, which is when you get the best blow you off statements. So this was the Bears at Steelers last night, the Monday night game. The commentator was quoting Bears coach Matt Nagy, and he said, he really dropped a profound line on us. He said, "Our offense just needs to possess the ball more."
Really? You just need to possess the ball more. I'm assuming you also need to score more points, right?
We need to score more points than the other team.
Oh my!
I was actually Joseph. I was gonna text you the other day. I heard someone said something dumb like that. I think it was like Mark Sanchez in one of the games. It might have been like a Thursday night game or something. I don't remember, but he said something like, "You don't win games with yards; you win it with points," or something like that. And I was thinking, wait a minute. What if, just for fun, they did it where the winner, the team with the most yards won, and how that would change the dynamic of the game if that was the goal.
Yeah, no. Well, I think right away what you would have is more trick plays, fake punts, and more people going for it on 4th down. Because then you went, oh, dude. Oh my goodness. You would go for it near your own end zone. Because then if you gave the ball back up, the points don't matter because they only can get a certain amount of yards to get a touchdown. Oh my gosh, you would intentionally, that
you would want to be set up like near your own end zone so that you can go down the whole field. Right? So teams when teams punt, then they would be punting really shallow, right? Because they would want to give you less field to go down.
Yep. But then there'd have to be a way to penalize you for you get penalized for penalty yards, like that would hurt you in your score, because then teams could, quote unquote, false starts to drive back so they gain more yards on a play.
Oh yeah, penalty yards would subtract your yard total.
Yeah, dude, that'd be a really, I would watch that.
That's no more Pro Bowl. This is the Pro Bowl game. Because the Pro Bowl game is terrible, nobody's watched it forever. This is the new Pro Bowl game. It's the team with the most net yards wins.
Yeah. And you would have guys going crazy for sacks. Get those sack yards.
Yeah. So I'm patenting that, and the NFL owes me about $1 billion for that idea, for all the revenue and on all the TV ratings they're going to get for that. All right, so you got one quote?
Yeah, after Gesicki's first amazing catch, Nestor says, that was a sick catch. It was.
Get it? Because Gesicki, get it?
I did.
All right, so our next segment is our, sort of a special segment. It's Wacky Week 9. This was just the most upside down, unexpected week of the season so far. There were several upsets, several scores that, while the outcome may not have necessarily been unexpected, the margin was. So the first game I have down, as far as upsets, Jaguars beat the Bills. So talk about like arguably the worst team in the AFC beat arguably the best team on the AFC this last weekend, 9-6. So when people say that any team can win any given week, last Sunday was proof of that.
It happened multiple times.
Yes. So the other upset was not necessarily by outcome, but by margin, was the Titans over the Rams, 28-16. And the 16 is actually, I think one of those touchdowns might be a garbage touchdown because the Titans were dominating in that game. I think they were up like 21-3 at one point. So the Rams came out and laid an egg at home. The Browns just destroyed the Bengals 41-16. I'm starting to doubt the Bengals a little bit, man. They lost to the Jets last week, and then they get demolished by the Browns.
With you, I agree. I think they have the potential. They're inconsistent, and yeah, I'm with you on that one.
I've always said Joe overrated, so you can come in my camp anytime you want. The Broncos destroyed the Cowboys. Don't let the scoreboard fool you. 30-16. Most of those points were garbage. The Cowboys laid an egg, and it was inexcusable. The Falcons topped the Saints 27-25, which was in the Superdome. Now, the Saints are having quarterback issues, but the Falcons have been pretty bad so far this season, and that was unexpected. And then the Giants beat the Raiders 23-16. What?
Dude, you are not kidding about the Broncos game. I just looked at the score. The Broncos scored 30 unanswered points less than halfway left in the fourth quarter. Less than halfway left in the fourth quarter, it's 30-0. And then in the last 4-ish minutes of the game, the Cowboys scored 2 touchdowns and 2-point conversions. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
Oh my goodness. What was so Dak Prescott played, and his stat line actually, I mean, it's not good, but just looking at the stats, you wouldn't think that they were that bad. But I guess the 2 touchdowns, you're right, they came late in the fourth, so he was having a pretty bad night before that. I think he was coming back from an injury, right? So maybe he probably just wasn't 100%. Yeah, wow, that's ugh. And then the other one I didn't mention yet was that the Chiefs barely beat the Rogerless Packers 13-7
at home.
Yeah, against a rookie quarterback who I think had his first start, Jordan Love.
I think it was. Yeah, and he didn't even play very well either.
No, he played terribly. So
yeah, no, it's embarrassing.
Yeah, the Chiefs are. What is more? I think I know your answer, but what is more baffling to you? How bad the Chiefs have been, or how bad the 49ers have been?
Man, dude, those are both really difficult because they were each expected to have like 12 wins minimum.
Yeah.
Same thing with the Dolphins. Dolphins were easily 11, possibly 12-win teams. So, I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. There's something weird going on with the Chiefs. Because at least with the Niners, it's how much of it is surrounded on the quarterback situation. That was never expected to be great, anyways. But you guys did have your defense and was expected to do better. So for different reasons, but I'm gonna go with the Chiefs because something weird's going on. And it's like, wait, Mahomes was 20 of 37, had 1 passing touchdown. Like, what is going on? Like. I don't believe that 3 years was the best or one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and that those were fluke years. I don't believe that those were fluke years.
Oh yeah, I don't think those were fluke years either. I think I don't think this is a case of, teams have figured him out. I think this is a case of he's just having a really down year. I mean, he already has almost as many interceptions as his worst year through half of the season.
Yeah,
right?
he's just off. He's just off.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what the issue. Yeah, the chemistry between him and Kelsey and Hill isn't there, and I don't know. I honestly don't know. I wonder if he has an underlying injury that
we'll find out at the end of the season that he was like playing with 2 broken ribs all year or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay, yeah, so that's the summary of all the crazy things that happened. Okay, so our 5th segment of the night is tricky picks, and the tricky picks this week were based on my and my family's trip to Levi Stadium. So, Joseph, do you want to go over the picks again, and we can just quickly tally them up?
And then I just would like to say that I apparently I know Jeremy's son better than he does. So, because Jeremy performed pretty poorly, guessing what happened.
Well, I can tell you that none of the things that happened, pretty much none of the things we talked about happened as I expected at all. So
yeah,
I'm curious. Actually, I know what the things were, but I don't remember how they lined up with the over unders.
Got it. And actually, and also 2 of your losses were the actual game itself. So I'm okay. So we asked how many times will Jeremy and his boy make a trip to the bathroom? Said over. I said over, and you said under. I have under for you.
And it was at 2.5.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Dumb. That's title over under. We both said over, and it was over. Got that right.
It was 2.5, right?
Yeah,
over.
We both said over.
Okay.
Will his son ask for food in the first quarter? We both said no, and that was correct. Will he choose pizza his first trip for food? I said no. Jeremy said yes. The answer was no. Over under on how much Jeremy will spend. $30. We both said over. I mean, Jeremy was pretty emphatic, and I felt like it was too. But
so actually, I should clarify the thing about the pizza. So we didn't actually make a trip at all. So that was the caveat. Was we didn't actually go buy food at all. My wife's friends bought a few hot dogs at the end of the game, I think he got up to go get them during halftime and then came back partway through the third quarter.
You know what? Then remove one of my wins and remove one of your losses. I think that's fair.
All right, so okay. And then what are the last ones?
Over under on the food spent. We'll both take a loss for this. We'll just a loss. We both said over and it was under, so we won't cancel that one. Will his son cry at all during the second half? Both said yes, and that was no.
Yep.
And then the last 2 are relative to the game. So will the score be within 6 points? Halftime, I said no. Jeremy said yes. We're down by 10, I think, right, or 17. Halftime.
Sorry, what was that one again?
Basically, what was the delta of score at halftime? Was it 10 or 17 or?
At halftime, it was 17-7.
Okay, yeah, so 10. So, and I said within 6. And then lastly, will Debo have 135 or more receiving yards? I said no. Jeremy said yes. I don't think anyone broke 80, 90.
Yeah. Okay.
So I was 4-2, and Jeremy was 2-4.
All right. So let me. All right. So 26. Okay. All right. So I updated our record. So I'm 18-26. I don't think I'm ever going to catch up to that. And 20, and you're 20-24. So what are our week 10 tricky picks?
All right. This is highlighting our 2 and how bad they are. So
Here we go.
To some
Here
extent.
we go.
All right. So we have Dolphins at home against the Ravens. We have Niners at home against the Rams. And which will be more, the Dolphins turnovers or the Niners offensive touchdown?
You're playing at Raiders?
No. We're playing Ravens at home.
Oh, Ravens. Oh, sorry. You're playing Ravens at home. I'm gonna say the. I'm gonna say that then there will be more Niners total touchdowns.
Nope. Yeah, offensive touchdowns. They
Right,
have to be
more
offensive.
offensive touchdowns than Miami turnovers. Right, that was the comparison.
Yeah, I just don't want a pick six when it counts. Okay.
Right.
All right, I went with turnovers.
Well, because us, the 2 turnovers that we've gotten this season, we're gonna load it up with pick sixes on Monday night.
watch
Give me a
you
break.
guys have 5 touchdowns, but 2 of them are like forced fumbles.
Oh gosh. I mean, I'd be ecstatic if that was true. I'd happily lose a tricky pick for that.
Yeah, that is true. Will Kittle, Debo combine for 190 or more receiving yards?
No.
All right, I said yes. Will they have? Oh, they as in Kittle and Debo. Will Kittle and Debo have at least 20 more receiving yards than the Dolphins' top 3 receivers combined?
I don't really have much of a reference frame for that. In the last game,
we haven't had many 100-yard games here. If we haven't had, and Parker is out last week. Oh.
But let's say that your top 3 guys had 60 yards. That's 180 yards, which means that Kittle and Debo would have to have 200 or more. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say the top 3 Dolphins receivers will have more yards than Kittle and Debo.
Okay, I'll say no. And then last one. Both games combined, right, including their opponents, the over-under on attempted field goals. The over-under is 11.
Oh, that's a good one. I'm going to say under.
Okay, yeah, I was going to make it 11 and a half. I feel like that would have made it too easy to go under. I made it 11. Okay. I went over, actually.
Oh,
all right.
Okay.
We're different on 3 of those. So.
Okay. So a little room for me to catch up. I'm 2 back from you.
Okay.
Okay. So our final segment is our predictions, and boy, oh boy, this last week was bad. So Joseph and I were both 6 and 8. I'm now 81 and 55 on the season, which is just a tick below 60%, 59.6. So yeah. And Joseph is 82 and 54, which is 60.3. So you have a game on me still. We differed on 2 picks this last week. I picked Saints, you picked Falcons, and then I picked Patriots and you picked Panthers. So for week 10, this upcoming week is week 10, right? I keep saying that, and I think that's right because the Niners are going to be playing their 9th game and they had a bye. So yeah, this week 10. So I'll start off. First game Thursday night. Ravens at Dolphins. I'm sorry, but I'm going Ravens.
Yeah. No, hopefully we can pull off a Jacksonville to Bills. Going Ravens. Falcons at Cowboys. Cowboys.
Same, and I'm assuming Dak came out of last week healthy, right? So he'll be playing.
Yeah, I don't anything so.
Okay. To me, this is contingent on him playing. So I'm also picking Cowboys, but
Yeah, same.
I'll put a note here if Prescott plays. Just it's unlikely he won't, but just in case. Saints at Titans. I'm going Titans.
Same.
Jags, Colts, going Colts.
And the yawn was for this next game, right? Jags at Colts. Yeah, I'm going Colts also. Browns at Patriots. This one's actually really hard. But I'm going to go Patriots just because it's in New England and the weather's getting colder.
Yeah, so I actually didn't pick this game. I put it as a tough one. I'll go Browns. I'll just switch. I'll go Browns.
Okay. All right. Although I guess if you're using logic, which who would ever do that? The Browns cold weather favors the run game, and Nick Chubb's back. So.
Oh wait, no, I have to go Patriots. Nick Chubb tested positive for COVID.
Oh, after the game, like yesterday, or.
Yeah, I saw this like today. I think.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Oh, that's a bummer. He came back and killed it. So that'll be a big loss for them.
I'm pretty sure I saw. I know I saw NFL. 1 second. NFL. What? Okay, let me look this up. I know that I saw that some big player. But the rules can be different for vaccinated, I guess. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what the rules are for vaccinated versus unvaccinated.
So it says here he could miss the game. He could miss the game. So I think Nick Chubb is an important enough player for them that I'm willing to make the game contingent on him.
Okay, so I'll say for you. Browns if Chubb plays. Okay.
And Bills at Jets, going Bills.
Same. Lions at Steelers. Steelers.
Same. Bucks at Washington, Bucks.
Same. Panthers at Cardinals, Cardinals.
Same. Though, do we know if well, I think Darnold got injured. I think Darnold has an injured shoulder. But is Murray back?
No. I maybe he might be, but I don't think it's gonna matter.
Okay, fair
The
enough.
Panthers are bad.
Then we have Vikings at Chargers, going Chargers. Though that should be a good game.
Yeah, that's actually a tough one, but I'm going Chargers too. Eagles at Broncos. I'm going I'm going Broncos, but I don't like it.
I'm
Don't bet
Eagles.
on this game.
I'm going Eagles. Eagles have put up some points the last few weeks.
But Joseph,
I'm
points
Eagles.
don't win games; yards do. So you're fine. So you are now still no longer a Broncos fan then, because you're picking against them. Okay, next one. Oh, you have the next one, right? Or do I? I don't remember.
I do.
Okay.
Seahawks at Packers. I'll let you explain.
Okay, yeah. So Russell Wilson is back from his 3-week IR, so he's eligible to play, but I don't know if he will. And neither of us knows if Rodgers is going to be back after the whole COVID thing. So, what we said was, both Joseph and I talked about it before and agreed, there's 4 permutations. The only permutation in which we pick the Seahawks is if Wilson plays and Rodgers doesn't. All the other 3 we're going Packers. So it is a contingent pick for both of us, but our pick's the same. Hopefully that makes sense. Chiefs at Raiders. I have to go Raiders. The Chiefs have forced my hand. I have to go Raiders on this one.
This one was tough, dude. I'm only going Chiefs out of just, they're gonna wake up, right? You mentioned last week, like, when are the Chiefs gonna wake up? I think, you know what? On the road,
big division game. Maybe they wake up, but honestly, this is so difficult.
They don't play the Raiders very well. But, I mean, yeah, it's possible they could wake up. I don't know. The Raiders have had some turmoil, too. They just lost to the Giants. So, I don't know. This is another game. Don't bet on this game. Don't spend money on this game.
Exactly. Then, I'm up. Lastly here, we have Rams at Niners. Got to go Rams.
Yeah, I have to go Rams, too. Although I get this, that there's a growing gut feeling in me that the Niners are gonna eke out a win here just because they play the Rams well. And the Niners should be mad after the last few what's happened the last few weeks. So I want to see a couple of turnovers. I want to see 2 or 3 passing touchdowns. I want to see some tough football. But I got to go Rams just because the Rams have been pretty solid. Okay, so we differed on 2, which were Eagles, Broncos, Chiefs, Raiders, and then I had the contingency for the Cowboys pick, and then you had the contingency for the Browns pick, and then we have the same contingency for the Seahawks Packers, depending on Rodgers and Wilson.
That's a record, 3 contingencies. That's never happened.
Yeah, that's what COVID and injuries will do. I think we've gotten smarter. You know, previous years we haven't done our research as much, and we don't know the injuries, and now we know, and so we're being smart about our picks. Okay, so Bears Bengals
in our record.
What was that? Yeah, it should reflect. Don't worry, it's okay. It's just we're having a valley right now. We'll pick it up by the end of the year.
Having a Mahomes year.
Yeah, exactly. So Bears, Bengals, Giants, Texans are on bye, and we agreed that our game of the week is going to be Browns at Patriots, and if that's a stinker, our backup is Vikings at Chargers. So Joseph, any final comments before we round out the show for this week?
I hope the Dolphins don't lose by more than 17.
Oof, okay. So if they lose by 16, or no, you said more. So if they lose by 17, you'll be happy?
Oh, happy's not the right word. I guess
content. Okay, wow. All right. I'm not at that point with the Niners yet. If the Niners lose by 17, I will be furious. So.
Well, I guess it all depends on our score, too. We have to score at least 13. So if we lose.
Ooh, man, you got low standards, man. Is it the O-line? The O-line has given you enough nightmares to have that be your standard now? All right, well, we're going to end it with that. Joseph's low standards for the Dolphins. We'll touch base on that again in a future week. But that is a wrap for episode 63 of the Practice Squad podcast. If you didn't fall asleep during tonight's episode or any of our past episodes, please like, share, and subscribe here on YouTube, as those are free ways for you to support our show. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at The Practice Squad and at Neuralizer_. Just as a reminder, if you've missed past episodes, you can watch or listen to them right here on my YouTube channel. Unfortunately, we did have some audio problems on past episodes, earlier episodes from this year, and possibly some episodes from last year. So if you hear Joseph and I talking over each other, we're really sorry about that. Unfortunately, I don't think there's anything we can do to salvage those old episodes, but I can promise you if you watch any of the last, 4 or 5 episodes, I think the audio is all good on those. So at a minimum, you'll have those. And some of our way older episodes, 1 through 30, should also be good. So if you have missed any past episodes, you can watch or listen to them right here on my YouTube channel. Tonight's show will be available immediately after we go offline. As always, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you guys next week.